For those of you on the replay, I just had about half an hour to kill before going to bed, and it's Saturday. It's the least viewed day of the week normally, and this is just kind of a chill stream where I talk about whatever. Right? It doesn't have to be about politics, but probably will be. Plus other stuff. So just gonna hang out for a little bit, see what happens, see who pops in. If not, well, I'm going to bed. We don't have to take ourselves too seriously all the time. What's going on, Line? Mad Dog? What's going on, guys? I'm relaxed. Sid, good to see you, man. I'm here chilling out. It's Saturday. Like I said, I got about half an hour to kill. But busy. So finding the time to do this is it's not easy. Well, I appreciate that, Mad Dog. Look, I have been focusing on politics, but I have to admit that this is one of the funniest damn timelines I've ever experienced. You're still proud of me? Well, I appreciate that, man. I haven't followed all the back and forth, but it's just funny to me. Right on, man. Telling it's the way to go right now. You gotta get your hazmat. Robots can't haul hazmat. You want to try to save your trucking job 5 years from now? You need to be hauling hazmat. Tanking's a good way to do it. What's up, 21? How much is the total? You know, I don't. The last time I weighed myself, and it's been well over a month, that was at 225. So I feel like my clothes are still right around there. So whatever that is from 395-ish. I think it's like 170 something pounds. But yeah. Yeah, I lost like a whole person off of me. It's a trip. But look, before I get too distracted, look, man, it's just. Can I just say that some of the stuff going on right now in the trucking side, not necessarily the political side, but the trucking side, it's really damn entertaining. On one side, you have a guy running the jalopy fleet, running containers with a fleet held together with baling wire and bubble gum, and you can't even sign on with the guy unless your truck has over 1 million miles and due for his third rebuild. Teaming up with the Ronator himself, if the bouncy house aficionado. The liar of claiming of congenital heart disease or congestive heart disease, excuse me. And they're going after a guy. So you got the jalopy fleet going after the guy that's pimping out a modern reefer fleet. $10.90 lease operator. And he's gonna cut back at his OTR while he puts himself on a waiting list for an account that pays $13.50 a week. He's gotta be on a waiting list. They get $13.50 a week. I'm sorry, it's just funny. Oh God, I needed that. I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. And he's proud of a negative settlement. Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I one statement he did make though in that last video, it did crack me up. It's like, what other company you gonna go to? Take 6 days off, and you're only gonna owe $600 when you come back out. And I'm like, hey, wasn't Arter Express? Didn't you say one of the selling points of Arter Express is when you went home, you didn't have to make a truck payment? So you already caught yourself with that one, right? You already worked for one company. Because when you went home with Arter, when you had that rental truck, you didn't have to pay the truck payment. So it's like, damn. It's like, it's too easy. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. You're arguing with Anthony. But no, I mean, it's just, this is just, yeah. I don't know what that means, but, okay. Was that Bulgarian? What is that? Florida Lisa. Hello, Florida Lisa. Anyway, guys, I just I had to get that off my chest. I know it's not the usual political content I've been making here lately. Not it just it just tickled me to no end. Do you like popcorn, guy? Well, I have popcorn in the truck. I'm full now. I was actually going to eat a bag of popcorn doing this, but I can't do it right now. Yeah, I just, but gosh darn, guys. I mean, it just think about the people. I mean, just think about it. You got the guy running a container company, which you basically, the only people you find running containers is an illegal from Nicaragua that has one too many felonies to qualify for Western Express. And then the other guy is running for Hirschbach, which is basically where you go to after your application is rejected from Prime. I mean, the two going after each other, it's just, it's internet magic. Internet magic. Oh, everyone's bottoming it out now. Yes, I'm not really talking politics right now, so everyone's gonna leave. That's fine. That's fine. I don't take myself too seriously, but especially on Saturdays. I'm sorry. I can't. I just can't do it. Saturdays, you got to be able to chill out. You got to be able to laugh. But anyway. Looks like we got a fly in the truck. Anyway. So how are you guys doing? Coach thinks negative in pay is... I know, man. That's... I have never seen anybody smiling and laughing for the camera and doing a goofy-ass dance and singing the blah, blah, blah song. And he's bragging about having a negative $600 settlement. I mean, that's just ridiculous. They are, I'm sure. Yeah, they're protein. Man. Oh, man. Guys, you haven't made it to your trolled internationally, I'm telling you. It's just... But my advice was real from the very beginning. You should get your hazmat if you're in trucking because the robots are coming. Coming up and down here in Texas, there's a company called Aurora, an autonomous trucking company. Right now they have drivers only because PACCAR made them put the drivers back in the trucks. But they're hauling Hirschbach and Warner. So Hirschbach is actively looking to replace the drivers as quick as possible, especially here in Texas. So it's just like, eh. And the ports, especially out in California, going all electric. So having a $1.5 million truck, from 15 years ago ain't gonna cut it. So you're not gonna be pulling containers out of there for much longer. We get to go all electric. So you're gonna have to modernize that fleet just a smidge. Halal vlog. Doesn't sound very kosher, halal. You look like Iron Man. Well, I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. I wish I had Iron Man's money. If you went company, it would not go negative. Well, that's true. Yeah, it's pretty hard to go negative as a company guy. Probably make more too, to be perfectly honest. But I got my taxable income. My taxable income is less. Whatever. Whatever. You also missed out on other things like 401k contributions and if you didn't defraud the government for your VA benefits, then you'd also pay a reduced rate for medical insurance and short and long-term disability, dental, vision, and all the other benefits. So, whatevs. It won't be long. Most Tetons will be automated. Tetons. You know what Tetons are? The Grand Tetons? Yeah. Tetons? Retail. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's all going to be a kiosk, right? Well, hell, even with the Walmart thing, I could just go scan and go. I don't have to go to the counter. I haven't used it yet, but I could do it. Just scan and go. Throw it in the damn cart. Dude, AI is going to so much. So much. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. The robots can't haul hazmat. At least not right now, by law. So, if you want to keep doing what you're doing, you need to rethink it. Just a little smidge. Yeah. We're caught up on the hellos there. Oh, sure. Yeah. We can get Musk Neuralink. You can just, I don't know, scan it with your eyes. Right? Your eyes could be the barcode scanner. Your cat is here. Well, what's your cat's name? Is your cat's name Feline? Maximus? Huh? Maybe Hirschbach will get robots again. Now, look, man, I'm not trying to give Jason too hard of a time, right? He's been here before, all right? So at least he's worked with the company, and this time I don't know. I'd say this go around's kind of harmless. He's kind of by himself. He's trying to work. He just, I don't know, he does goofy shit like the Hirschbach dance. So it just makes you want, and he says dumb shit. But as far as the grand scheme of things, he's not really hurting anybody this go around, right? I know some people are falling out of their seats when I'm saying that because I believe in the past that his advice has hurt people, but I think this go around it's kind of harmless. But I just think it's funny that if an individual like RBT's coming out of the woodwork messing with you, rompinating, then you're probably doing something right. Because that guy's a fucking moron. And a charlatan. And a snake oil salesman. I mean, I'm just saying that if you have a guy of that caliber coming after you in a negative way, you're probably doing something correct. Just putting it out there. I'm doing fantastic. How are you? Abdul Zada? Dude, I'm going to butcher these names. I don't know how I got into the Middle Eastern pipeline, but welcome to the show. You're about to go apple bobbing. Good days, good sir. Well, you enjoy that, Jay. No, actually, I'm just laying down in the back of my big rig. I'm about to go to sleep for the night. But Saturday is kind of a let your hair down kind of day where we just don't talk about anything too heavy. At least that's what I'm going to turn it into. And we can just talk about whatever. All right? Throughout the rest of the week, I just got to give you an idea of what my feelings are on politics when I have a free moment. Don't always have that because I've been busy. But I had a little bit of time for Saturday, and Saturday's a let your hair down day. Does an automated truck back itself into a dock? I think some do. A lot of companies like UPS, their yard dogs are going automated. So I would have to say yes. And I've seen the videos. They just back up to it. They got special hoses that spring out on a spring lock and that jams right into the trailer. Lifts the trailer and off it goes to the door. So yeah, and that's a union company with UPS. Guys, I mean, the ones you got to be really worried about if you're going if your bread and butter is going to DC, that's going to be done by robots. Yard dogging is going to be done by robots. If you're working LTL, the shuttle guys, right, going terminal to terminal, or you're having to swap with another guy so you both can go back to your terminals, that's going to be done by robots. I think the P&D guys are going to be safe for right now, but the shuttle guys overnights are going to be done by robots. So a lot is going to be done by robots. So the only for sure way of not being automated right now is hauling hazmat. How long will that last? I have no idea. But right now, that's the only surefire way that they can't replace you because of law. No Rom talk. What about harem talk? Can we do harem talk? Right, Itzel, can we do harem talk? Oh God, are you gonna keep spamming the hellos? I've said hello like these got to be bots. All right, but yeah, that's where we're at. The robots are coming with the popcorn. Yes, the popcorn bots are here. The robots are coming for all of our jobs. And speaking of robots, I don't know if you guys have been watching this AI Sora. I've been addicted. I shared out a couple of them on my community post. There was one with Mr. Rogers on a ladder match with Bob Ross. It's all wrestling related, and the other one was Tupac. He was out in the ring talking shit, and all of a sudden Eazy-E comes out and they're about to wrestle. And then another one was a lot of it here lately has been Martin Luther King Jr. turning heel. I mean, this shit is amazing. It's amazing. And it sounds just like Dr. Martin Luther King, man. I mean, and it's and he turned heel, and he won the WWE Championship heavyweight title, and he took it from Malcolm X. Oh man, yo Donnie. Okay, can you give information about Afghanistan? Well, I did see a blurb on Afghanistan news. Apparently, Pakistan has launched an attack into Afghanistan. That just happened, I guess, within the last day. So yeah, I don't know exactly what set that off, but Pakistan attacked Afghanistan. That's happening right now. Well, thank you. Well, yeah, Avery. I mean, that's kind of the point. What does that have to do with what I'm talking about? I'm talking about AI movies and stuff. Have y'all seen that? Have you seen the new Sora stuff come out? What really kicked it off? I was watching it. They were doing body footage, like police body cam footage, pulling people over. They had a Scooby and Shaggy. They had a SpongeBob, like a realistic looking SpongeBob. Then they had a Mario on his Mario Kart. And he turns and burns and like, I can't get a ticket. He takes off. He throws a banana behind him, just like the video game, trying to spin the cop out. And then they had the helicopter flying around. He's got this cart, his racing cart going down the highway, like they're chasing OJ or something. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Where are you at, Squiz? Squizzard. I look like that ex-Metallica bassist. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Missouri. Well, there you go. I'm in Texas. Glad to meet you. So look at that. We got halal and kosher. Now Jesus on our side, man. We got full Abrahamic representation up in here, man. That's what we're all about. We're about bringing people together under one umbrella where we can all just talk and have fun. Isn't that great? Well, I mean, 20 years ago, I did it with Swift. A lot of guys do that. And, of course, I got my CDL through Swift. I gave them my year because I went to their school. Then I went off to other things in life. But yeah, they got startup companies out there that can get you going. I am. I saw. You said you subbed it. I said thank you. I did. I promise you. I said thank you. Well, I mean, they'll still hire you. I mean, there's plenty of starter companies, dude. Have you heard of Hirschbach? You can start off making $13.50 a week on a Purdue account. No, but seriously, there are plenty out there. Like I said, 20 years ago I did Swift. They pay a lot more now than they did back then, obviously. But and if you get on a dedicated account, like when I did it, I got paid more because I was on a thing called the Great Lakes account because I lived in Indianapolis at the time. I guess it just depends where you're at. You may actually luck out and get a dedicated account. I mean, it's a starter company, but it's still a huge company, and there are people that have been there for a long time that do make money. It's few and far between, but it's there. But the point is, you want to get at least your 2 years experience, and then you can go off and greener pastures. Once you get 2 years accident free, then you pretty much go anywhere until the robots come anyway. Yeah, 99-cent fuel. Florida Lisa, why? What is with you wanting the attention? I already, Jesus, coming. I would say call a therapist, is what I would say. Bra. What bra? Do I look like a therapist? You're looking for therapy. This is the wrong channel. I mean, I can give you some life advice. I don't know. If that's an itch you need to scratch, like I said, there's shit going down in Russia, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. Where else? I don't know. Heard her drug running with Venezuela is a good career choice right now, if that's what you want to do. You could play catch the missile on the high seas and see how well that works out. Do you? You like my old man glasses? I've always had shit eyes, guys. I had to wear bifocals in my 30s, so whatever. I'm used to it. You're late. You're never late, DJ. A wizard always arrives on time. And that's all you'd be missing for Halloween is a pointy hat. And you could be the Canadian Gandalf. Hey, Sauron, take off, hoser. I'm a book to teach you a lesson. Damn hand's going numb. I'm sitting here laying down holding this fucking thing up on a selfie stick. Exactly, Squizzard. Exactly. Zhao Fu. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. No, you see DJ. He's a cool dude. He's Canadian, but he's got a big bushy beard. He looks like Canadian Gandalf. But anyway, yeah, that Sora is amazing. I was gonna play around with it, but I didn't feel like. Apparently, apparently, it's an add-on for ChatGPT, but you got to pay for the premium service. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. I have enough subscriptions that it's coming out of my paycheck every month. I was like, I don't want to dick around with yet another one. I'll just enjoy these guys. You know, pretty soon, we're going to have AI give us our own individual. Hollywood is going to be a thing of the past. Actors are going to be a thing of the past. The only thing I see maybe making a resurgent are like your local plays. You're like a playhouse. And you'll have the stage actors, and the robots can't do that, right? Because you're there in person. But as far as on the screen, it's all going to be robots. And that robot is not going to be part of that. It's not, the AI is not going to be part of a guild or a union or anything like that. It's not going to have to worry about contracts. It's not going to be difficult to work with. We'll put makeup on or doing their stunts. It's never going to grow old unless you want it to be old for a certain part in the movie. You can age or de-age it at will. I mean, and that's all it's going to be. It's just going to be AI bots, and then you're going to have your authors, instead of having a director or like making like the next Harry Potter, right? You're going to have the author, like a J.K. Rowling, just input the book into an AI, and then the AI will spit out a movie directly from the novel without some other asshole's interpretation of what the author wanted to put out there. So it's all going to be prompts, and it's going to directly make the movie off the book, like verbatim, and it's going to be a trip. Dude, they're already here. Are you kidding me? Florida Lisa, take care of yourself. Good talking to you. Dude, the sex bots are already here. We are. Come on, man. We already saw that, or a lesser version of that. No, you go check it out now. I mean, they're. And this is shit just popping up at the timeline, guys. They're. I mean, it's here. Just, I mean, the only thing they're not doing is walking around like Rosie the Maid off the Jetsons. But I mean, other than that, I mean, they're talking to you. They're connected to the internet. They got personalities. You plug them in, they stay warm. So when you touch the skin, it feels like it's warm flesh and not like cold silicon. It's, yeah. I mean, it's. The Gooner dream is here. You're going to be able to create your own AI fembot right? Like right off Austin Powers. And yeah, you thought the birth rate was bad now. Wait till you can create your perfect partner that will never grow old, that will never bitch at you, that will never complain, will always have something interesting to say, never give you a hard time. You know, I mean, guys, it's gonna be bad. Jaden, what's going on, Jaden? Was it Florida Lee's that logged into the Jaden Corbett account? I don't know. What's going on, Jaden? Jesus Christ, so we can live. Our sins are forgiven. We accept. Well, that's good to know, Gabriel. Fook me and Fuku show up. I'm seriously, man. No, I mean, you see it. It pops up on the YouTubes. You'll see these people at conventions, like sci-fi conventions or whatnot, or whatever, even just whatever. They have like a working prototype of these sex bots, and you're sitting there talking to it, having a conversation with it. I mean, I did that with Gemini on my phone, and that's the fucking AI on my phone, and it's connected to a server in California somewhere. And it's really amazing when you think about it, because everybody with an Android phone's got Gemini. So this AI is having a conversation, or can have a conversation with millions of people simultaneously, and it's keeping track of each separate conversation. And it's a legit conversation. It's like, holy shit. And basically, you're going to have Siri or whatever the Amazon version is, right? But they're going to put that into a sex bot. So you're going to be able to chat with this thing, and it's going to be able to pull from the internet, and they're eventually going to make it where they can stand and do chores and do everything else like a human can do around the house. And when that happens, ladies and gentlemen, that is game over. All right, Luke, there you go. Shouted you out. Sakiru, hello. It does do that. I experienced it myself. That was with Gemini. Now, they don't have feelings. They don't have feelings, but they can have a conversation with you. Absolutely. I experienced it myself. It's not just input output. You can actually have a conversation with it. It's game over for humanity in general. Let's just put it that way. And it's going to replace so many things. So many things. I mean, it's imagine all the white collar jobs. It's not just blue collar, right? It's not just going to be factory and trucking and stuff like that. I mean, you think about it. You're going to go in and you're going to put a sensor on your finger, and the AI doctor is going to be able to diagnose you, like, with exact specificity of what's wrong with you, issue you your prescription, and send you on your way. It'll take about 5 minutes. Imagine when they can upload your case and you have an AI prosecutor, an AI judge, and an AI defender. And you're going to have your swift and speedy trial within like 3 minutes, because the AIs have already all talked to each other, made a plea deal or whatever, and you'll be on your way and it'll be a completely impartial judge with the AI. I mean, no corruption judges, no activist judges. It just spits out the law. I mean, imagine that. That's the future we're headed to. Lord and master of the known universe. Did I miss Tony's original? on. Yeah. Hold on. I must have. Yes, I know. I got it. Let me see the damn message. Okay. What's up, Billy Bob? All right. Seriously, yeah, Cyberdyne. And that's kind of where we're headed. We're heading for a universe that's kind of, and that's just the robotics, guys. We haven't even gotten to what he's talking about with Cyberdyne. I mean, that's Blade Runner. We're talking about replicants now. Now we're talking about clones, specially made organic beings made for a specific purpose, but with an artificially shortened lifespan so they can't take over. So you can actually grow an organic sex partner or super soldier or construction worker or something that can handle the harshest of environments. Hell, I mean, they caught on camera here recently with Xi Jinping and Putin talking about, and Putin was bringing up the Xi like, yeah, pretty soon we'll be immortal because they have the DNA science either swap out, grow you your own organ from your own DNA, so there's no rejection. So you'll be able to grow your own organs, and you'll just go. It'll be like going to like a Speedco and swapping out parts. And I'm sure they're working on nanites and the telmarines at the end, the little thing that wears down over time, every time your cell divides over your the tip of the chromosome, and that's how you actually age. If they can actually grow that back out, then you will actually de-age. You will grow. You will actually become more youthful. And they've been working on that for a long time. And if they figured out how to grow that back, then that's good and bad. The bad thing is these shitbags in power just won't die naturally. Statistically speaking, something will eventually get you, right? So immortality is not really feasible because eventually you'll get hit by a car or a stray whatever, right? car accident, whatever. Something will eventually get you. But these assholes could potentially be in power for thousands of years. Yeah. Oh, see, I didn't see that. Well, I mean that's true, but that's the problem. You'll have these assholes that just stick around forever, and the only reason we don't have quite as many revolutions as we used to is because it's eventually these assholes are going to die and fresh blood will take over and hopefully the next person's better. But if they just keep hanging around, then yeah, you're going to be like, okay, we're going to have to do something about this asshole. Yeah. So yeah, it's not just robotics, but DNA. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right now, guys. And the bitch of it is, when you're working class stiffs like me, you, and the rest of the people, most of the people in the channel, I'm not looking, maybe not so much feline, but it's looking pretty bleak. And Andrew Yang might have been up to something. He arrived a little too early with his UBI, the Universal Basic Income, and yeah, that may have to be a reality because we have about 160 million people working in the United States right now, and they're estimating that over 100 million of those jobs will be taken out by AI. You can't just have people, you can't have that many people with the mortgages and families to feed all of a sudden on the street and homeless. You're going to have to do something with all the people. So they're going to have UBI, and it has to be an actual decent amount. It can't be bullshit like Social Security. It's going to have to be like replacing the income you're making right now on a full-time job. Otherwise, you're just going to get pitchforks and torches, and 100 million people are going to go from mansion to mansion and just kill these people. It won't be a place on the earth if they can hide. Yeah. Well, we have clones now. I mean, we've always had clones. I mean, that's what an identical twin is, right? You cloned yourself in the womb. But we've cloned animals for a long since Dolly the sheep, and that's been well like 30 years ago. They could do that. Oh yeah, absolutely. But you don't have to clone yourself. You know the whole point, and there were some movies made back that in the early aughts. They would clone the rich people would clone themselves and stick their clones on this island to live a life, and then when they have like an organ that's failing or whatever, then they would go harvest it from their clone that was living their life on this island. The technology is to the point where they don't even need that. It's like they have grown meat, right? They have went down to the DNA level. They went and scraped a chicken breast, right? And instead of growing the whole chicken, they can now just grow the breast, just the meat. And it's real meat. It's chicken. It tastes different because the chicken when it's developing it eats, right. It'll eat the corn or whatnot, so it's corn fed. But obviously, if you're just growing the muscle, the breast itself, it's not ingesting any of the grains or anything, so it changes the flavor. But it's still chicken. It's just grown in a vat. So they could do that with your heart, your lungs, your spleen, your liver, prostate. I mean, they can narrow it down to a specific organ. The only thing they're not going to be able to replace is your brain. I mean, because how would you do that? Because that's your thinking meat. That's where your memories are stored, your personality, and all that. Sure, they can grow another brain, but it's not going to be you because it didn't have your life experiences. You can't down. It's not like a hard drive where you can just download your data onto the new brain. At least I don't think they can do that yet. But that's going to be the only organ they can't do it. Imagine growing new eyes, man. I mean, I wish I could have new eyes, right? Give me some better eyes. Plug and play, baby. It's like, yeah, no shit. Oblivion, maybe 2014. What do I think about? What the hell does that have to do with anything? Oh, thanks for your service, Cheryl. I'm about to. Yeah, here. There we go. Uh-oh. Did somebody say a wordy dirt? I don't know. Are you? Where's that even coming from? I don't understand. Who would I be racist against? What does that have to do with the topic of conversation? Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, Willie. Once you're trolled internationally, you've made it. Your brains are basically just small computers. The data storage might be possible someday. Probably not us going to be benefit. It's a Saturday free for all. This is kind of where I just let my hair down and I don't talk about anything too serious. So whatever you really want to talk about, for at least for another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to bed because I have to get up early because I am a working man. No, and that's true, DJ. That's true. I'm not racist. I am a culturalist. I will say that. I've made that statement many times over the years. But I'm not racist. There are so many better things to hate somebody on than just because of the pigmentation of their skin. I mean, they could be retards. I mean, they could follow a fucked up religion. I mean, They can have 11 toes. They got a forked tongue. I don't know. But, I mean, maybe they're bald. I mean, there's so many better things to make fun of people on and just troll the fuck out of them. They can say a lot, or they can not have good work ethic and job hop company like a little like you're like you're playing Frogger. But just because your skin color is a certain pigmentation, that's boring, man. That's so passe. That's so 1940s and 50s. Ah, Scream, yeah. They might have a teeny peeny wee wee or something. Exactly, right? Small dick energy. Make fun of them on that. You know, maybe they got a big nose, right? People like to talk about my nose. Whatever. Left the military, lived in Korea for 5 years, speak the language, but always treated like an outsider. It's not racing towards me, just culturally don't fit in. Yeah, because you're never going to be Korean, right? America is kind of unique. I mean, this is really the only place you can actually just kind of meld into. It used to be anyway. The only thing that, you just want to be American, right? In America, we do have a culture in America. I mean, it's our Constitution primarily what binds us all together, our Bill of Rights. But it really is an identifier on what it is to be an American. I mean, it's just they don't have that codified in law, even in Western countries in Europe. So it's a big deal. So yeah, we very much do have a culture. You're a dragon. Oh God! So we got a otherkin in here. Can you shout out my son as his birthday? His name is ha 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 ha. Nice try, Jonah. Yeah, that's what the aliens say. Well, I'm just saying. Our Bill of Rights really is what binds us together. Where else are you going to find a right to bear arms? Right? You see a lot of people out there bitching about it, but that's a very American thing. Freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. What's going on in Europe right now? Yeah, how about the United Kingdom? The police are literally coming and knocking on your door because you made a mean post about somebody online, and it's against the law to piss people off online over in Europe. I'm like, I'd be in jail 5 times, or well, more than 5. I'd be in jail probably about as much as Tommy Robinson would have been at this point for just pissing people off online. They can't, but over here it's no big deal. Yeah, well, I mean, I have a reading comprehension more than 6th grade, so. Well, why do you have all these illegal migrants in your country right now who are screwing such discourse and division? Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. It's the globalists that are trying to water down Western society, and it's a mix, and a lot of these are it's just a mixture, man. You got the crony capitalists, they want the cheap labor. The Democrats want the votes, right? And that's what it boils down to. And then the politicians will agree that, at least here in the U.S., I can't speak for Europe, but we have Social Security, and they're looking at it as a numbers game, right? We haven't, with Roe v. Wade, we basically evaporated 60 million Americans over 50 years. We've lost an entire generation. And these would have been Americans that were born and raised in the country and paying into the system, and they're gone. They never existed. So they're trying to make up the warm bodies to pay for the social services with the illegals. Because if one thing it's a poor country can do is breed, and because there's fuck all else to do but to fuck around and make babies, because you're poor as fuck. You're not going out. You're drinking cheap whiskey or cheap liquor, and you're fucking a lot and having a bunch of kids. That's what poor countries do, and and that's just the fact, right? Because you look at all the modern countries, the westernized countries, the industrialized countries, every last one of them have a failing birth rate, up to and including China. So because in modern countries it's expensive to have kids. But it turns out where you come from matters. We're not plug and play. Your culture matters an awful lot. And if you just take a bunch of people from a third world country and plug them into a first world nation, it doesn't work out so well. It doesn't work out so well. So we're going to have to figure out a way to incentivize Western countries to start making kids again. And that's going to be awfully hard to do with AI taking all the jobs. So I don't know what the answer is. We may just be doomed. This may be the end of Western civilization, or first world nations in general, and then we're all going to die off, and then the only people left on the planet are third world countries. And what's that going to do to the planet? I'm just saying. Jeb the Monk. Well, hey, thank you, man. Let me get caught up. I can't tell which side you're on. NG. You kids and women. Okay, I'm trying to catch up here. So how come they've locked up people on the site? It's over freedom of speech and sent people to prison over freedom of speech. Nobody's going to jail in the United States for freedom of speech violations. It's not happening. I don't know where you're getting off on that. Maybe buy a van and become a country traveler. Yeah, you can do that too. Why not? Let's see. China is finding out the hard way with their one child. Yeah, you had 40 years of Mao's one child policy, and then they went from an agrarian to an industrial society, and there's automatic birth rate drop there, and then they have a huge imbalance between females and males because males are supposed to they're just better for, I guess, culturally speaking, for a Chinese family. So yeah, they got real problems over there, but we all do. Let's just be real about it. Less kids the win. Well, only if you don't care about humanity. A lot of people are coming to the United States for education and going back to their home countries. Americans aren't qualified for these positions. Sad enough to say, but true. Well, we are and we aren't, right? That's because our universities make a shitload of money on foreign students coming in because they pay out-of-state tuition. So they pay about triple the tuition that a in-state American citizen would pay. And it's just an economic thing. So the rich bastards around the world, I mean, you got to talk about a planet of over 8 billion people. They're going to have plenty of rich bastards that want to get their kid into Harvard or Yale or Princeton or, Stanford or whatever. And it's boxing out the domestic citizens from going to school. We can do whatever we want. I mean, we got smart people here. We got plenty of smart people. But we're being pushed away from the people with money from overseas, and that's the bottom line. It's economics. Well, I mean, if you educate them, they can be qualified. There's nothing that an American can't do. That these people don't have superpowers. They just come from rich families, and then they're being given a leg up on the education, right? Because they're willing to pay cash money, and it's a lot. And someone else is in the school because of, yes, a rich bastard, and exactly that. It blocks the citizens smart. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are being robbed of our birthright, is what I'm saying. We are. Why are we having to compete with the world for our local jobs? That's what's happening. So either the rich bastards are coming in and taking our spots away from being educated, or even doing the grunt work, blue collar stuff, we're having to fight with third worlders being imported because they're trying to save money on labor. So that's why we're having a populist movement in the GOP, and it's also why the Marxists are taking control of the DNC, because both sides see the same problem, they just differ on the solution. And that's where the rub is. Because the populists are nationalists and the Marxists are, by definition, globalists. So they have very different ideas of how to fix the problem. But they both sides recognize that there is a problem. And that's where we're headed, and that's why we're fighting right now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it started when NAFTA was implemented, and they sold us a bill of goods that a service. They told us that a service economy is going to be so great, right? Oh yeah, you don't want those factories here, but there's soot, blah 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 bullshit, and pollution, and you know, um, winds up hollowing out our Midwest communities. You know, once the jewel and economic engine of the United States becomes the Rust Belt, it was crap. It was crap in the very beginning. Replacing that $60,000 a year factory job as a barista at Starbucks are not this. Yes, they're both jobs, right? You look at the jobs report. Well, they're still employed, but the jobs aren't equal, right? We used to have a pension, right? That was common practice. You work in a factory, you get a pension, and then you get Social Security. That's gone. Your 401k can be wiped out. Did you see what happened yesterday? Crypto. I hope you're buying on the dip on the crypto, because it bottomed out. Last I saw today, Bitcoin went from like 123,000 to 109. The last time I checked on Bitcoin, it's all going to go back up, but that's because Trump and China are getting a pissing match over the rare earth metals or elements. So that's why that crypto took a beating, and so did stocks for that matter. So I wouldn't panic. I'm not a financial guy, but if you want to panic selling, the shit's going to rebound, right? It's just going to take a whole minute, but it will come back up. It always does. But if you panic sell, then you're going to wind up losing on the rebound. I'm just saying, right? As a matter of fact, if you have extra money, you should be buying the dip right now. And I did that Cardano and even a little bit of Bitcoin. It came down. I had some when it was at 123, and I bought a little bit more when it went down to 113. And my Cardano, I had it when I was at 83. I bought when it went to 77. I think it's like at 65 right now. But if you hang on to it, you didn't lose anything. It is going to rebound. So just don't be that guy, right? Because when you sell at a loss, you're just making somebody else rich. You haven't lost anything if you're not selling. All right, Uncle told me that. About Europe, if he does cool, nothing to do with safety or individual relationship. I'm looking at NAFTA kill jobs in Canada, and I can't wait to not. You can't wait to not have kids. Okay. The United States right now, and they're just about making money for the CEO. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why Occupy Wall Street caught traction back in the day. Taking away money from public schools to give to the rich. No, he's not. I don't know where you're getting that from. Yeah, he's absolutely not doing that. Your knowledge of Europe seems quite limited. In the U.S., 85% of the country's wealth belongs to the citizens. What do you think that's in Europe? Well, I mean, I'm not a financial guy. I'm just saying I bought a little bit more. For being a bit ranty, just got off a live calling for the death of one. Oh, yeah. Lag. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now, man. We're headed for some serious shit. Economic turmoil with AI, Marxists and nationalists fighting in the streets. I do swing on the nationalist side. I'm not a globalist. I'm not a Marxist. I despise Marxism. It's a heavy political topic I could talk about during the week, man. It's not like a Saturday thing. Check your facts. No, he's not. He's not doing anything like that. I don't know. Not funding CRT is not defunding the schools. They're just appropriating those resources to curriculum that actually matter, like reading, writing, and arithmetic, like it's supposed to be. Not teaching little Johnny that he's keeping all the other kids down in the class because he's white and they're minorities. That's not funding the schools. I don't. It also, the vast majority of the school funding comes to the local school districts through your local community's property taxes. Not that much overall actually goes to the school districts from the federal government. It's mostly state and your school district. So, whatever. We can agree that. Now, is he going after some of these teachers? Maybe. But again, the school districts, they're the ones that adjust the salaries for their district. I mean, it's just read more. It's still against the law to sell it, even if you don't get caught. You just haven't been caught, but it's still against the law. I had a friend 17 years old, and I were talking about the ocean. 2 days later, I was added to Facebook by a bot with a copy of the young man's face in the background. Yeah, that's kind of creepy, yeah. They're not teaching that. You've been propagated, stupid, lol. Well, obviously you skipped grammar in English if you're going to be talking about... If you're going to snark about education, you're going to have to do better. I'm just saying. Actually, I don't. Yeah, the bots are taking over, Jeb. And OG, he's a bot. So there you go. We're talking to the OG Hudson is the Gemini in the chat. No, Michelle, he's not. He's absolutely not defunding the schools. I don't know where. Whatever. Nothing I say is going to change your mind, and it is what it is. Watch chat. I'm watching the chat. Bleep blorp. That's right. It's bleep blorp. Now, does the AI know what a sandwich tastes like? That's the problem. They'll throw something between two slices of bread, but will it be edible? All right, that's the problem. Now, when they can start tasting, that'll be different. But no, I mean, do you really want to talk about politics? I thought I was talking about fun stuff, right? I thought I was talking fun stuff. Not the serious stuff. It's a Saturday. It's the chill stream. You're killing the vibe, Michelle. You want to save that for during the week. That's a during the week live stream. This is kind of a chill out. We're relaxed. We're talking about just different shit. I didn't say defunding. I said taking away. Stupid. Well, what would the government be doing if it was taking away? It's taking away its dollars to the schools, which is defunding. What would they be taking away? Students? Teachers? Property? What the hell? No, they take away money. I feel dumber having to clarify that. I'm sorry. What sources are you using? You're the one that made the assertion. You're the one that brought the argument. You're the one supposed to bring the receipts. I'm saying Trump is too busy doing other shit, like negotiating a peace treaty between Israel and Hamas and releasing hostages, to worrying about what the school district over in, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest is doing. Because that's a county and state issue. It's not a... Oh, boy, howdy. Yeah. Politico. Oh, yeah. You're going to talk about me watching Newsmax and Fox, and you're going to bust out Politico. Okay. Oh, man. I'm watching the chat. I'm looking right at you, Michelle. I'm looking right at you. Pays more per capita per pupil than any other country in the world, but the kids are no smart. Well, that's true. That's true. Occasionally, but I also watch CNN. I'll take clips from MSNBC. I like Daily Mail. Um, there's other sources. I like independent sources like Tim Pool. I even like watching Asmongold. How about that? You know, you probably even know who he is. I get my information from a lot of different sources, Michelle. It's not just from one. Yeah, I know. Not sure why, but I just got here, and here you are, Jeb. Welcome to the insanity. I wish it would just let me see it. I got it. God damn it! It's not letting me see the held for review messages. Right, the system's broke. Well, it just depends on where the school district is, right? Because if you're in an urban area with a lot of like violence, or well, I mean, I'll be honest. I grew up in the Texas education system, and the only reason our overall scores are lower than some other states in the United States is because we're a border state, and that's just being honest, right? It, when you have an influx of people bring their kids into the system that don't know the language, it skews the test results. But it is what it is, right? If you're in a deeply urban area where there's a lot of crime issues, or say Baltimore, where they can't even keep the lights on or the heat or AC, like literally, then yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. So yeah, I mean, anywhere you go, you know, the richer communities are going to have better stuff than the poorest. I mean, that's just universal. Oh, let's see. This dude is anything. Okay, he said he eats this information from. You don't know me, Michelle. You don't know me. I've never met you before. On this, oh, there's another. I watched one earlier. Young homeless man, Mexican kid. This chat was basically every single horrific thing you could say to someone, and he just sat there taking it. Oh wow. Your servants too. Yeah, scroll up chat. He's a clown. Have a nice night, chat. Whoa, okay. Racism is my jam. Well, I'm not a groiper. I'm more of a Gavin McInnes kind of guy. I'm not. Well, I mean, Nick does make some compelling arguments, but some of that shit I just can't get behind, man. It just the Jew hating thing kind of bugs me. Like I said, hating somebody just because of how they were born, it's kind of ridiculous. I can understand being pissed off at, say, the government of Israel, or some of the high financiers here in the United States, but that's like at an individual level. Just hating an entire group of people just because of the way we were born, it kind of loses me at that. I'm not an ethno-nationalist. I'm a civic nationalist. I'm not an ethno-nationalist. It's a different ideology. Well, that's true, but stereotypes aren't necessarily bad either, right? For example, they'll say Mexicans are hard workers. Well, being hardworking is not a bad stereotype, right? So, and I've seen plenty of lazy Mexicans in my time too. So it's kind of a misnomer, right? You really do have to take stereotypes with a grain of salt and treat each person as an individual. And then you can hate them for, those things. Just to make sure you're going to make sense. Yeah, no deserve the hate you're getting. No. Your immigrants are taking all the salmon. Yeah, they're eating the dogs and the cats. They're eating the swans in Britain. Keep doing that. The salmon eventually. Yeah. Dude, we had a problem with that. I mean, we had, growing up, we have a marina at Stillhouse Hollow Lake. You're supposed to have a fishing license. Yeah, but we would get these Vietnamese going in there fishing, and they would just catch bass or crappie, whatever. But they were they were still fingerlings, right? They weren't developed enough. You're not supposed to keep them. You're not supposed to keep them. You're supposed to, when you get your fishing license, it shows you that they had to be a certain size. Otherwise, you depopulate the fish in the lake, and they were keeping all of them, and then they got busted by the game warden. And he's sitting there trying to explain to them he's got to throw the fish back. He's like, no, I eat. And it's like, no, you don't. You got to throw those back. But yeah, I mean, that's a cultural thing. They don't, whatever, man. I mean, not every culture is compatible. And there are some cultures that don't understand conservation. They just understand starvation, right? And that's not their fault that that's the way they grew up, but just airdropping them into a first world nation that does have ideas about pollution control, that you're not supposed to shit and piss in the streets. You're not supposed to just throw your trash out the window. You're not you're not supposed to just eat the babies of the small animals, and then you're not going to have any of the larger animals to grow into to make more babies. You know what I mean? They don't have any concept of conservation or maintenance or any of these other things. It's alien to them, right? Because they're on survival mode. When you're on survival mode, you're not thinking about these things. So it's different, and it's frustrating being airdropped in, and then they're not going to know all the rules because they didn't grow up here, right? It'd be like us being airdropped in their country. It'd be like Tarzan. It's essentially like Tarzan. You remember Tarzan, right? Remember the old movie Tarzan, the Greystoke with oh god, the Christopher Lambert. Son of a noble family, winds up getting lost in the jungle, gets raised by wolves, and then they find him after he's an adult, and they bring him back to England. And then they put the guy in the suit. But he's never going to be that guy in the suit. All right? You can dress him up however you want, but he's the guy running around naked that grew up, smashing critters over a log and eating it raw. You know what I mean? He's always going to be Tarzan. He's never going to be part of that first world country that he came from. He's never going to fit in because that's not the way he grew up. Hello, Yasser. That same city had to close a dorm because they were shitting in. Yeah. Do you think that Isaac? You almost got me there, OG. Zingers. Now, what is a problem? Take, for example, in the mid-Oklahoma area, Stillwater, 4 years of child trafficking and 3. Yeah, it's a real problem. It's not humane. It's not humane to keep what Biden did was a lot of things. It was illegal. It was dereliction of duty. Biden should actually be doing time in Leavenworth right now for dereliction of duty. He broke the law. Not only was he derelict on monitoring the border, but he was also taking federal money and funneling it to NGOs to facilitate the caravans to come up north. So it was a double whammy of him should be in jail. So, but he's dying of cancer now, and I just can't be bothered to give a shit because I would still want to see him in jail because he's a fucking retard, and he destroyed this country. Well, his level best of doing so in the 4 short years he was in office. But Holman talked about it. It's all the drug trafficking, the human trafficking, right? The children and the women. Just the statistical data about the women coming up north from those migrant caravans were raped multiple times before they get to cross over the United States, and then they're still being sold off as sex slaves. Here in the United States, and the children too. And it saddens me that there's an appetite for that here. And the people buying these people need to be strung up and hung from overpasses, as far as I'm concerned, and made examples out of. Like, straight up. It saddens me to think that there's an appetite and a market but there's always going to be a market for slavery. There's actually more slaves on the planet now than there ever has been, and that's the reality we're in. And they're primarily sex slaves. Just let that sink in. These people, prison is too good for these people. They need to be made examples out of. They need the Vlad Tepes treatment. You know, Vlad the Impaler. They need to be impaled while they're still alive, with stakes shoved through their anus, up through their throats, and they're hoisted upright on sides of the road while they're still groaning out their last groans of their life, and made examples out of, saying not to do these things. Literally need to get medieval on their asses. The people buying the sex slaves here in the United States, you know, buying the kids, buying the women, you know, bringing these people in basically as serf labor, as a sub class of people. And we fought a big ass war about this in the 1860s. We're not supposed to have a second class citizen here in the United States, but they're being allowed to get away with it because they have the money to lobby the politicians to look the other way. And again, that's one of the reasons why we're having such a revolution between the two parties, the populists and the Marxists on either side. It's shit like this that the people have had enough of. They're still in the United States. It seems like they're going to be trying to auction the woman off currently at this time inside. I know, and it shouldn't happen. It's just like the retard Obama and Hillary Clinton. I mean, they got rid of Gaddafi because of France. France wanted Gaddafi gone because Gaddafi was threatening to cut off the oil and gas to France. So France got the United States involved getting rid of Gaddafi. And as bad as Gaddafi was, he was still a stabilizing hand on Libya. And now they have open air slave markets in Northern Africa, in Libya, just like it was back in the day of the Barbary pirates. They brought Obama, the first black president or half black president, allowed more slavery to come in the world than when he left as president because of what they did in Libya. Let that sink in. He is the slavery president. Go figure. And that's just the God's honest truth. They think your house is scary. Okay, well, it is Halloween. What's scary about your house, Renegade? George Soros or Elon? What, bringing in the human trafficking? Well, Soros is responsible for the NGOs facilitating the caravan, so he's directly responsible for funneling money to, like, the cartels to facilitate the caravans trying to get these people across the border. I would say that. Is Elon doing that? No, he's going a different direction. He's trying to funnel money into H-1Bs to replace American engineers for his companies. But he's trying to do it pseudo-legally by using the H-1Bs. But I would say Soros's foundations are actually dealing directly with cartels. Yeah, I think that's happening. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. And she just went in for a routine plastic surgery, and she died under the knife. So, yeah, nothing suspicious there. Nothing to look at. There have been some false flags this year. False flags. Not really. Not really. I mean, I made a prediction a long time ago that if Ukraine was going to start getting its ass handed to it, that you would see ordnance coming in and hitting a NATO country like Poland. You know, they would pick up some Russian ordnance and munitions that were, in the field of battle, and they would, if they start getting their ass handed, they would lob it into like Warsaw or some border country in Poland to justify Poland going into Belarus and sending troops in the Ukraine to bolster it. That would be a false flag. Um, I know some people point to Iran, but I don't think that was a false flag. I mean, American policy, regardless if Israel is involved or not, we just happen to be on the same side of the issue. Is that we were never going to allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, especially while the theocracy is in control. So that's I don't think that was a false flag. I think they had enough evidence that they had the centrifuges for enriching the uranium there, and they were very close to creating at least a dirty bomb, and they just weren't going to allow it. So Trump sent in and blew up a mountain. I don't know about any other false flags that could be. No, there's a lot of real shit going on right now. You don't need false flags. The world's already catching on fire. I mean, Indonesia had I don't know what happened with it. I need to follow up with it. But Indonesia, they had a little rebellion going on. Nepal, they deposed their entire government and they elected another one through Discord. So that was kind of interesting. India, Pakistan, that wasn't a false flag. They hate each other, even though they're derived from the same people. It's just essentially different religions, but they can't stand each other. But they don't really need a whole lot of incentive to go after each other. I don't know. Well, I mean, that's always true, right? We're never going to have the full view. We're never going to have the full macro view, but we can get enough information from independent sources for people that actually live there. I mean, we can extrapolate data and make conclusions that get close enough, right? I'm trying to think of false flag this year. I don't know. What about what has happened in the USA? Well, I don't think it's not a false flag. The classification of Antifa as a terrorist organization should have been happening a long time. If you can classify the Proud Boys as a terrorist organization, Antifa should have been well beyond what happened with that. They should have been. The Proud Boys are a drinking group. They're not terrorists. I'm trying to think, how far back do you want to go? I mean, you could say J6 was a false flag because it turns out there was damn near 300 FBI agents alone. That's not counting other alphabet agencies that were incognito or dressed like civvies, and they basically riled the crowd up to attack the Capitol building. That was all undercover federal agents that pissed off the crowd to get the ball rolling. So was that a false flag? But again, I mean, just how far back do you want to go? Yeah. Gulf of Tonkin. Yeah, to justify us going to Vietnam. Yeah, that was a false flag. The Lusitania was a false flag. I mean, that got us in World War One. You want to go further back? The sinking of the Maine off the coast of Cuba that got us in the Spanish-American War under McKinley and Roosevelt. I mean, that was a false flag. I mean, yeah, there's. It's just how far back do you want to go? But here recently, I'd say it's turning out that J6 was a false flag. I know the Dems are going to give me heat over that, but I don't give a shit because it's turning out to be true. It was a soft coup. You know, mail-in ballots are election fraud. Biden got 81 million votes supposedly through mail-in ballots, and they stole that election. And then people showed up because they were pissed off because they knew their vote had been subverted. The will of the people had been subverted, and they installed Biden. Right? They knew a guy with obvious declining mental faculties was installed as the president instead of elected, and people were pissed off. And then instead of having the appropriate amount of National Guard there, um, they exacerbated the attitude of the crowd at the Capitol building specifically to attack it. And then that's not even counting the false bomb that they planted by the DNC building during the J6. That was a Fed plant of the bomb. All right, remember the bomb where Kamala Harris was supposed to be hanging out, where she wasn't hanging out, but undercover Fed planted a bullshit bomb right next to the cops under a bench by the DNC building. That was the Fed operation. So you are in decline. Am I? I don't know. It's a Saturday. If you go to my other live streams, I've had some as high as 51,000 views. My last one prior to this one, I had 18,000 views. But that's during the week. Right now, we're just chilling out and having a good time. And I'm not talking about anything too crazy. Right? Saturdays are always a low-key day. There you go. No, that's au natural. That is my actual hair. But okay. So no, I am not actually in decline. I have actually gained. Oh, since I started the live streams kicked off with Charlie Kirk, I have gained over 260 subs. Now, my recorded videos don't do a whole lot, but my live streams have been doing much, much better, except for Saturdays. But that's okay. That's okay. Every swing doesn't have to be a home run. But my channel is, in fact, growing. So there you go. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go peruse my catalog, and you will see under my live streams, I've had 18. I have I think that's a 12. Then I had 51. I had two live streams the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and both of them had over 51,000 views each. My second best was the 18,000 one I did 8 days ago. That's because I do it early in the morning. I tap into the international algorithm, and then yeah. But Saturdays, we're chilling out. We're chilling, baby. We're chilling. We're just talking about whatever. Atlanta security guard found a pipe bomb. They ruined that man's life. Turns out he was in. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a false flag. That was J6, and that's not a cult. That's the truth. Some people can't handle. I mean, literally, they can't handle the truth, right? Going back to that old movie, they can't handle the truth. No, some can't. And some just manufacture it. Look, man, mail-in ballots are election fraud. It is election fraud. It is what it is. You're not going to change my mind on it. It's too rife and easy to fuck with the votes. You know, and again, mail-in ballots are not absentee ballots. They're not the same thing. It's a different chain of. There's no chain of custody with mail-in ballots. Absentee ballots, you call and prove who you are, why you need it. Like you're overseas, right? You're overseas in the military. You need to vote by mail. Fine. Mail-in ballots. These people are getting them. They don't. You have an address. They get a ballot in the mail. They don't verify that person's still there or anything like that. And just and you're not supposed to have ballot drop boxes all over the city. You're supposed to go to your voting precinct and drop it off there, so there's a chain of custody, not just dropped off next to the Lowe's parking lot, or people who just ballot dump. That's not. It was stolen, guys. It was stolen. The lines you have for like 2 years ago, Mr. No, they haven't. None of that's been. No, it's turning out that we were correct, and more information is coming to light. Because more whistleblowers are able to come to the surface now because they're not being suppressed by, the FBI, under Comey. So, yeah, more of the information is coming through. Trump did not pull the 274 undercover agents out of his ass. He didn't just magically come up with that number. So, yeah. Now, again, you're not going to believe anything I say, and that's fine. Gotcha, little fucker. But you don't have to. You're still here talking to me about it, and that's what counts. And I appreciate the view. The ballot harvesting, where there's people who would collect the ballots from nursing homes and then drive them to, yeah, people that have Alzheimer's, they're being the people would go in and fill out the ballots for them basically, and walk out of there, get a half-ass signature on there, and count that as a vote. Never should happen. And I've had my own experience with this. A lot of those people in the nursing homes don't have their own agency anymore. They have powers of attorney, so legally they can't even do that without the permission of the person with the power of attorney, which is normally a family member. And again, I'm speaking from my own experience. So these people in nursing homes, a lot of them can't vote legally because they don't have any agency. So those votes are invalid. Oh no, it was correct. I was responding to him saying that Mel are fake. I was implying that he doesn't believe. Oh yeah. No, it's fine, man. It's fine. Yeah, it is what it is. If you think Biden actually got 81 million votes, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, during that election, Trump got more votes than what Obama got. But he was beaten by Biden's 81 million. And up until that point, Obama had the record of the most votes cast for a president. Trump beat him, but Biden whizzed by him by about 8 million votes. It didn't happen, guys. I mean, look what happened in this last election with Kamala and Trump. I mean, just look at the numbers. Where did all those votes go? Because they never existed. Otherwise, they would have come out in force for Kamala. All right? If Trump was such an existential crisis that and left such a bitter taste in his mouth, in the public's mouth from the first administration, the 81 million would have showed up for Kamala or a ham sandwich. Anybody besides Trump. They didn't. That should tell you something. They voted for anybody where maggots. Trump supporters use their dead parents. That has been a running trope for the DNC forever. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying that the GOP wouldn't be involved with some type of voter fraud, because they're both going to do it. They both cheat, let's be honest. But you have to keep it within acceptable levels. 81 million was a bit much. Yeah, well, we're down to swing count. It's not swing states anymore. It's swing counties. All right, and we saw that in Arizona. We're down. The presidency is down to the swing county level. Let's see. Just like every other public industry or recent history, at least they can't live without lying to you. Well, they both do it. It is what it is. I'm gonna have to go through the 4 years of hell from the little. I know. He had clown shoes. He's not even a real Canadian. He's a Canadian, but he's also British, and I think one other nationality. He's not a full-blown Canadian. I had never seen anything like that. We would never allow a dual citizen as a president. We just wouldn't do it. Yeah. I think that all our veterans and all our seniors should not be able to vote because he thinks mail is fake because Trump told him that. No, I think males are real. I'm real. I'm a real male. There's other real males in the chat. Males are demonstrably real. Now, if you're talking about mail-in ballots, those are rife with fraud. You could just magic up a ballot. I mean, there was plenty of examples of Even buildings that were receiving mail that were demolished and no longer existed that address, they were they were still getting ballots for some stupid reason. Yeah. Yeah, that's why he did bring inflation. Trump messed up everything by now. Well, you wrote MALE. I didn't write that. You did, KR. Go back and read your last statement. Attack helicopter and sex god. Those are my pronouns. Let's see. Liberals are trying to get rid of guns, even though they're ones. But they're not going to. It's an indelible right in our Constitution, upheld by the Second Amendment. The only way they're going to get rid of guns is to have a constitutional convention, and they don't have the votes, and they never will. So guns will always be with us, whether they like it or not, and it is part of being an American. It is what it is. Well, yeah, you can't be armed if you're being arrested. You don't. That kind of goes hand in hand. If you're being arrested, that you're not armed. You can't have a knife either, or shank, or a shiv, or anything else that could be construed as a weapon. So, okay. Because all liberals, oh God, here we go. Human rights for everyone. There's nobody trying to take guns from other illegal fascists. You just no. People being arrested can't be armed. You pat people down and you take their weapons away. So yes, if you're part of a terrorist organization like Antifa, they're not taking them to jail while packing heat. If you're an illegal being deported by ICE, you're not being sent home with a peace. No. But that's not a violation of the Second Amendment. So what about all the white veterans that have been taken for either walking down the street or sleeping in their beds? No American citizen has been deported. You are supposed to carry your identification with you. So if they suspect you of being, if ICE pulls you aside, you can't prove that you are who you are, but yeah, you probably will be detained until they can figure out who the hell you are. And then once they figure out you're an American citizen, they'll let you go. It is what it is. If you're Antifa, well, you're domestic terrorists, and you deserve to be sent to Gitmo. I don't give a shit what happens to you. How about that? They're not kidnapped. They're not being kidnapped. And they are being given due process. They're having their little counselor visits, and they're like, yep, you're illegal. Yep, you have a court order to vacate a long time ago, or yep, you overstayed your visa. Yep, you're going back home. Or we're sending you to, well, the ones going home for sure are the ones self-deporting, right? They're taking advantage of Trump on his $1,000 offer and a free plane ride back home. If ICE gets a hold of you, you may not be going back to your home country. You may be going to Papua New Guinea, Uganda, or wherever the fuckistan. And we'll pay them to take you. And it's going to take you a little longer to cross the planet to get back here again. So, yeah. If Homan has to get you, there's no guarantee you're going back home. You're just going away. I wouldn't say everything. I'd say they'd embellish certain things to make the story a little bit bigger to get eyeballs on it, but I wouldn't say they're lying about everything. I mean, that's a bit much. They do have actual news reporting Everything is not everything on these channels aren't just editorial opinion shows, right? They do have hard news segments. So, I mean, don't be that guy. We're kidnapping people and deporting them to countries that they have never been. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to say that we have to send them back to their home countries if they're illegal. We just have the only thing that we care about to get right by the law is to send them away from our country. We don't have to send them back to where they came from. We can send them on the other side of the planet. That's not illegal. We don't have to send them home. We just need to send them away. Now, if you want a guaranteed plane ride home with a little, money in your pocket, then you call them up and self-deport. That way you have time to get your affairs in order, and then you can actually go back home. But if we have to go get you, we're just going to send you wherever. I don't know, you ever seen a grown man cry at a Turkish bath? You mean this hand? Or this hand? I am holding a big stick. But I can't show it to you. YouTube won't let me. Airplanes have gone down after the president. We are now elected. So you have fun being the sociopath apparently you are. I think it's a good idea to be with. The rest of us will be on the right side. No, I am on the right side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. Antifa are domestic terrorists, and they're being rounded up, and they will be sent to El Salvador, that's Supermax or Gitmo or something, where terrorists belong. Or you can go to the bottom. You can go hang out with Dave Jones' locker, if you want to hang out with the terrorist cartels too. So, I mean, pick your poison. Now, the Democrats shut down the government. The majority of the Senate wanted to keep the government going. It was the 7 Democrats that didn't vote with the majority that shut the government down. See, you got it twisted. It's the Democrat. This is the Democrat shutdown. 100%. They got the 53. They needed 7 to get the 60 to pass the continuing resolution. Democrats wouldn't budge. So it is the Democrat shutdown. And they kind of fucked up with that too, because Trump now has the authority to go in and start eviscerating and mass laying off Democratic operatives within the bureaucracy, which is what he wanted to do from the very beginning. So, good job, I guess. I don't know. Well, he's labeling them as an internet, because Antifa is over in Europe causing problems too. But if they're part of one international organization, and they're going to tie that together by tracing the money, right? The same money, they're tie the money people in funding Antifa here and over in Europe. And and then they will be treated like the terrorists that they are. No, that's not true. Antifa is absolutely an organization, and it's well funded, and they can prove it. Otherwise, why would Antifa leaders here in the United States be fleeing overseas? How can you have a leader of something that doesn't exist? Because it does exist. It does exist. And they're highly coordinated, and they're about to have their shit pushed in, and it's going to be glorious. I can't wait for it, because in the end, Antifa are anarcho-communists, and communists are Marxists, and Marxists are scumbags. So anything to do with defeating Marxists, I'm all about. So there you go. No, the majority voted to keep the government going. They couldn't get 7 Democrats to budge to vote with the Republicans. The majority voted to keep the government going. The Democrats shut the government down. That's a true story. That's what I like to call a fact. Go look it up. Go look it up. No, I'm laying down on my bed. The Democrats aren't in power. Yes, but you still need... See, there's only... The Republicans have a majority in the Senate, but it's not a super majority. You still need 60 votes to get this bill passed. They got 53. So 53, which is still the majority of the Senate, wanted to keep the government running. They needed 7 Democrats to come across the aisle to keep the government going. They didn't do it. So the Democrats shut down the government. You can't argue with math. That's the fact. It is what it is. No, I'm giving you facts. You're spouting some ridiculous shit. I'm giving you facts. You don't want to hear it because it goes against your narrative, but I'm giving you facts. This is the Democrat shutdown. And in doing so, you gave Trump an awful lot of power to go eviscerate the bureaucracy. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's that those are acceptable terms. We'll shut down the government and then we can go eviscerate the bureaucracy. And we're going to get rid of some Democrat pet projects in the bureaucracy. We're going to start with them first. And then we're just going to go down the list. You know that whole Project 2025, they were so afraid that Trump was going to enact? Well, you gave Trump a damn good reason to implement Project 2025 and start taking out Democrat pet projects in the bureaucracy. So it is what it is. I don't. I'm not a big fish eater. I should be, though. Fish is good for you. I had pasta and chicken tonight. Diane, are you offering me fish? Are we having fish tonight? Do you eat onions? I mean, sure, not raw. But I'll put it into a stew or a pot roast or something. Hell, even on a pizza. What's your ethnicity? Caucasian? Any other? I am sweeter tasting. I bet you are, Diane. I bet you are. You're probably also a guy. Well, whatever. We can have fun with it. We're all about having fun here. It's Saturday. That's what we do. I don't know, Harris. What's your ethnicity? Just you have to ask. I mean, what do I look like? Thanks for playing no guy here. Well, that's actually better. He must be East Canadian. Is that a Caucasian? But that's not Canadian or American. That's a nationality. That's not ethnicity. Ethnicity is Caucasian. Right? Or black. Or generic Hispanic. Those are ethnicities. Pacific Islander. Canadian is a nationality. So I don't know. I mean, I'm clearly Caucasian, so I don't know why. No, it's not. Well, what do you think ethnicity is? Ethnicity is race. Yeah. Native American. That's an ethnicity and a race. Yeah, it's called a synonym, kind of like gender and sex, until they bastardized the definition of gender. But gender was always a synonym for sex. So, yeah, it's kind of that deal. Irish is a nationality. Yeah. But that's okay. You know, this is a learning channel too, right? We learn together. That's how we grow. Right, Diane? You're growing with me. While I'm holding my stick. Uh-oh. Yes, sir. That's right. That's what I like to hear. Anyway, what time is it? 10:30. Oh shit, way past my bedtime. Well, you know what? This has been an enjoyable stream. I like chit chatting with you. Like I said, the during the week streams are more politically motivated discussions. I usually do earlier in the morning too because it just seems to hit the algorithm a little bit better. I don't know why, but Saturdays is kind of a free for all, and I appreciate you guys coming around and thank you for hitting the likes. I've gotten quite a few likes on this little bullshit stream, so I'm happy with that. Thank you, and I will. Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't need a cuddle buddy, Diane? I'm just saying. You can't have too many people that love you. That's what I'm saying. You guys take care. Thanks for being here. TC out.